Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/Great Detectives. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us using your favorite podcast software. And I do want to go ahead and highlight our other podcast this week. I'm mentioning Public Domain Video Theater, and throughout the rest of this year, we are going to be featuring the Bulldog Drummond movies, and we'll also be playing episodes of Racket Squad. You can follow Public Domain Video Theater at videotheater.greatdetectives.net, and you can also find it on our YouTube channel. Well, now it's time for this week's episode of Squad Room, and this one features Wynn Wright as Lieutenant Douglas. Let's go ahead and listen. We don't have very specific dates, although it was around New Year's Day. I can't tell you exactly what year. We'll talk about that after the show, but here now is the episode Ferris Wheel.
Squad Room, Lieutenant John Douglas. I suppose one of the first things you learn when you break in as a police officer is that you will, while on duty, enjoy no such thing as a holiday. You will just experience more headaches. Still, the last thing we expected on this last day of the year was a dead body report.
There, sure, Lieutenant. That was Patrolman Collins, the Highway Amusement Park. Collins is a careful officer. A woman up high in a Ferris wheel. Dead, Lieutenant, not drunk.
Ferris wheel?
Forrester? Yes, sir, stuffed under the seat of one of the, whatever you call them, cars, I guess, that you sit in. Forrester, cover desk here.
Sign us out. Collins, how did you... Collins, which car? The body.
He can't hear you, Lieutenant. I ordered him to search the amusement grounds. We'll have to wait for the owner or climb, sir.
Well, there's no dead woman in this Ferris wheel car. This one down here. It's full of paint. Look in it. Red lead, terps, brushes.
Mr. Goldberg, the owner's notified. He lives out in Queens Park. He's got to come quite a way. And what with the holiday...
Well, which one? Which car? There are 20 of these cars up there on the wheel.
Well,
Collins, get over here. I don't see any body.
Lieutenant, I better... Well, it's the third car, the one about 30 feet up in the air.
Third car where?
At 9 o'clock, sir. The blue painted car with the green and yellow trimming. If you look close, you can see her hand. The finger's sticking out of the open window.
Well, how do we get up there? How did Collins get up there?
He climbed. No, we can't make this wheel turn. We can't figure out how to make this engine.
Well, how did Collins know that there was a dead woman up there?
I'll take the blame, Lieutenant. There were some kids, some boys.
Blame?
Well, they're good kids, but, too much holiday exuberance. They climbed the gate, got into the amusement park here. Running around harmless, but carrying on, and they climbed up the Ferris wheel, and they saw her.
Hello, I'm Joe Goldberg. I'm the owner.
I'm Lieutenant Douglas. This is Sergeant
Yeah,
Allen.
what's this crazy stuff about a dead woman up on the wheel, huh?
Can you start this thing?
The wheel?
Yeah, turn the Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Bring that, when you get it started, bring that blue, yellow, and green car down.
The one with the woman's finger sticking out of the side.
Nah, you don't want that, huh?
No, we don't. A little more.
Oh, well, Happy New Year. Somebody went for a free ride.
You know her?
No, thanks, and I don't want to. Head all cut up, blood all over my feet.
Would you,
No, I don't want to be involved.
Woman about, 35?
30 to 35.
Her shoes. Do you see her shoes in there?
Handbag's gone, too.
Don't see any signs of identification on her.
No sign of a weapon in the car. Yeah, I'm not moving her. Just wanted to see if...
Hit hard in the head. It was something like a bar, maybe a piece of heavy wood. Notify the coroner, technical, and R&I.
See if we can get fingerprints to identify her. See this? Found it under her on the seat. Recognize what it is, Lieutenant?
No. It's a little plastic wheel.
It's broken, a piece. Broken off a New Year's noisemaker.
What did that waitress tell you? The barkeep's new and a number one dope.
When I showed her the picture... Go ahead, sir. She said the dead one, Madden, had worked here for a while before, and then she got lucky and married some man from Westville. No, she didn't know the man's name.
Where's the car? Round on the drive? Well, that's not much help. We'll have to call Westville.
Well, the waitress also thinks, but she's not sure. She thinks she saw Hilda Madden in the joint on Christmas Eve with a tall, lean guy, middle-aged, parts his hair in a funny, sort of like an angled way. She says this man has a big nose. Here's the car. And he wasn't Hilda's husband.
She give you anything else on Big Nose?
Well, quiet sort of a guy, she said. Keeps pretty much to himself. And he once mentioned he had a brother somewhere north up around Nashua.
Well, all right. We'll put a teletype up to Nashua, but put a tail on that waitress, too. Let's go to Westville on the husband. And if Hilda Madden was going to drive the waitress home, she'd have to have a car. Stop off at the Hall of Records on the way. I'll look into the car registration angle. You go on up to Westville on him, the husband. This is the lieutenant.
Sergeant Allen. I'm still up here, Westville. I had trouble, but I hit gold. I located the husband.
Good.
He's a Paul Wilner, lives right here in Westville, on Eucalyptus Avenue. Says he last saw her, Hilda, on Christmas Eve at 10:30 p.m. Says he went to bed very early in disgust, and when he woke up, she was gone, and so was his wallet with his money in it. All she left behind was a note.
What about the car? Does she own the car? I got nowheres at records.
It's his car, registered under Wilner, not Madden. Madden's her maiden name. She took that along with the wallet, too. I'll be right back. I've got the tag number and the car description. Say, what's up, Lieutenant?
Well, I don't know. While we were out, some man called up twice, asked for the homicide officer in charge, said he's no murderer, but he's...
What?
Well, he refused to talk to anybody else and hung up fast. Nobody here knows if he was a crackpot or if he's our man having an attack of guilty conscience. Better come back in. I'm going to stick around close to the phone.
I'll drive right back home.
Foster, call down and get me something from the diner, will you? And tell T.S. to keep the lines open for that guy to call.
Lieutenant, is Lieutenant Douglas up here?
Up here, the front.
Oh, Lieutenant, I owe you an apology.
Come up to the desk here. Take that side chair.
I'm a softie, a real softie inside. I just hate to see anybody I know get in a jam.
No, I don't see.
I'll level with you. I was out at my amusement park earlier today. It was around 10 in the morning. There was a strange car parked in the back lot where I set up the kiddie sand pile. Naturally, my property. I went to see whose it was. I found one of my summer men. He works for me as a mechanic. He's pretty well loaded, and he's in the front seat. But he's as long as he's tall. I said to him, John, and I shook him away. John, I said to him, why don't you get into the back where you got more room to sleep the holiday off? He looks up at me. If you think I'm loaded, he says to me, look in the back seat. You should see my girlfriend. And there was. There was a woman lying on the back seat, but she was snoring, and she was all covered with a blanket.
Hilda Madden, the dead woman we found up in the air?
I really can't say, Lieutenant.
Up in your Ferris wheel?
Her back was to me. She was...
Well, it was daylight. You were looking in through the open car window.
I wish but I can't, Lieutenant. Sure, didn't we all get a good look at the dead woman?
Stay where you are. First Detective Division, Lieutenant Douglas.
I want to talk to the top man.
You are? Who is this?
Never mind. I just want you to know I'm no murderer. I can't go on sneaking around corners.
Hello. Hello, this is the lieutenant. Are you still...
I can't. I can't.
T.S., did you get... Oh, darn. Goldberg, what kind of voice does this summer mechanic of yours have?
Voice? You mean when he's sober? Gee, I never paid notice. Why, was that him? The way you were acting on the...
Acting on what?
Your telephone just now.
What's the full name of this fellow, John? John what?
I don't know. In my business, you're glad to get a machine man, a mechanic who'll hang for the whole season. I pay him cash, and I don't smell his breath. He keeps the wheels turning in the summer season. He's happy, I'm happy. What do I care about his John Hancock?
You said strange car. Then he wasn't sleeping in his own car?
The man doesn't own the car. I didn't say he did. Maybe it was the woman's car. I don't know, sir.
Mr. Goldberg, I'm going to have to ask you to stay around.
The squad room.
On Paul Wilner, her husband over in Westville. You want to hear the rest of it, Lieutenant? I cut it short on the telephone.
He called up again, Sergeant.
The anonymous phone caller?
Drunk, it's true, but there was such a strange, well, almost tortured quality in his voice.
Would be convenient if he just walked himself in.
I don't know. He didn't mention any names. He just said, I'm no murderer. And the rest as I told you.
Well, Wilner, her husband, can establish where he was at approximated murder time. He went to sleep at 10:30 Christmas Eve, woke up to find his wallet gone, his pockets clean, and all that was left of Hilda was this note. It says here, sir.
Hon, I'm going out to celebrate Christmas, and who knows, maybe the celebration will keep going until I ring in the new year. I'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back.
No, I guess she won't. You know, Sergeant, I can't get the idea of that man who's been telephoning anonymously out of my mind.
Just another crackpot. Yep. You're forgetting it's New Year's Eve?
No, I'm not. Lieutenant Douglas.
Is this the lieutenant on the Hilda Madden case?
John. Is that you, John? Where? What bar are you calling from?
Happy New Year, Lieutenant. I gotta talk to someone.
Every man available. Every noisy bar in town. I want everybody out. Sergeant.
Big nose. Look at the way he parts his hair. Sort of at an angle. He's cockeyed. Beat officer found out from the end barkeep. That's the guy that made a phone call.
All right. Soon find out. Hello?
Who?
Police Lieutenant Douglas?
Hey, sit down. Have one.
Are you the man that's been calling me?
Old Lang Syne. It's the season to be jolly.
Lieutenant's talking to you, Buster.
I'll handle it.
Have one.
You are the man, aren't you?
I did.
Killed Hilda Madden.
I just can't go on with this. Killer's life is a lousy way to have to live. Look at that crowd. Have to sneak around corners. Look at that crowd. They're having fun. I don't always be sneaking around corners. Can't give your right name to people. Lieutenant, you see, I did time once many, many years back. I robbed. So I know ways to find out. And I asked, and I found out you're supposed to be a right pull, so I telephoned.
Without telling me your name or...
Johnny Beller. So? You know any more now? Names are easy. What the heck, for 58, have a drink, Lieutenant. You'll get your case white. I'm sorry. I'm doing everything too fast lately. I got the greed, I guess, in this crowd. Listen, I know I'm a loner here. Cut me, I gotta talk to you, but I guess my time's up. I got the greed to live. I killed that girl, Lieutenant, not out of any misbegotten evil in my heart. Look, sit down. Here, and sidekick, have... Well, anyway, here, at least ginger ale. Gosh, what Boy Scouts. New Year's Eve, see?
That's enough.
Right, you too. What are you, a sergeant?
Keep talking. Go ahead.
I met her on December 21st, drinking. Well, we got to talking, social. I had a wad of dough on me, good wad, because Goldberg, he's an ace. He advances me 200 against next season. And here it is, it ain't even Christmas. We leave the bar, Hildy, and she's got a car parked. I get in. Listen, I was tired, so I must have fallen right to sleep. I wake up and I'm in the gutter. Dirty water, wet newspapers all over me. I half under a newspaper delivery truck down by the depot where the freight comes in. I could have been killed if the truck driver came for the truck. I get up and she's gone. The car, of course, is gone and my wallet's gone with my $200. And so's Christmas for me and the New Year, too.
Where'd you get this money on the bar here?
Let him talk.
I don't know what to do, but I know I'm going to get my money back. All I had was the look of her and her car, to go on in my head. So I hung around, for days, down on Lower East 10th. Slept on loading platforms, cold, wet. I even got the price of cigarettes. Christmas Eve, I figured she's going to be celebrating. And she was. I waited near the bar where I met her. And out she comes. I asked her for my money. She denies any knowledge of the whole thing. I told her, I said, look, I know you took it. I know you got it. But I'm in a jam. I'm reduced to a mooch because of you. I was going to hit a bus for Ford. I got work. I always got amusement park playland. If I can't connect, I can always wire onto a carny or a traveling industrial exhibition. I can't get old-timers like me. Men like me, they're long married. They're staying home. They're working for the utilities or in truck repairs. They're steady with contractors. Look, I beg you, give me back part of my kick so I got travel money. I figure at least 80. But she laughs right in my face. Says I'm dirty. Go away. And I did. I did. I went, not far though. I went and forced my way into her car. I hid in the car. It was almost daylight when she prances back, high as a kite. And she got in. She drives away, and I speak up and slams on the brakes. And she sobers up real fast. Hildy, I says, I see you had a ball with my money, but I want what's left back. She starts to yell, I'm a bum, and she threatens to scream and call a cop. So I hit her with tire iron I got my hand on under the back seat. I did. I admit. We were near the amusement park. Day was here. I didn't know what to do with her. I drove the car in the Goldberg's back lot. She was bleeding hard.
She was still alive.
I guess. Yes. I covered her with the blanket in her back. I don't know, but I must have passed out. Next I know, Goldberg, he's looking, shaking me. I guess he told you, but he didn't know. He smelled hooch. I guess he figured we were just both drunk. After he left, I didn't know what to do anymore because she was dead. So I put her in one of the Ferris wheel swing cars and put her up in the air. I didn't want to do that with Mr. Goldberg's equipment.
What did you do with her car?
West of the city line. I'll show you. It's in the woods. I'm no murderer, Lieutenant. But I am.
Sure are, mister.
Let's go.
Let me, please, finish my drink.
Wynn Wright. Sergeant Allen, Dan Ocko. Goldberg, George Tanner. John Beller, Sam Gray.
Welcome back. A pretty sudden and quick end to the case. Very direct and pretty much over before too much happens in the investigation. A guy calls in, confesses, and turns out he did it, and that's that. In terms of dating the episodes, it is a challenge. Like so many other New York mutual programs, Squad Room is really a bit of an enigma. My research did uncover a date for the first episode we played about the mother of two being killed in the loft that originally aired on December 22nd, 1954. I found a couple of newspaper entries that included the synopsis of the episode. Nothing on this one, or even on firmly establishing when Wright was playing the lead. This episode could have aired the week after if, say, he was filling in for Zuckert as this other character, or it could have been aired early in 1955. It also could have been aired earlier than that, like 1953 or early 1954. It couldn't have been aired around New Year's Day 1956, as the series went off the air in April of 1955 and returned in mid-January, with Lawton Zerbe having replaced Zuckert as Scanlon. And I think by then, Zuckert might have moved on to another series, which we played a few years back, a Police Blotter in the lead in that series. At any rate, if I get more information on this series, I will pass it along. Listener comments and feedback now, and we start over on Good Pods, where Alexis writes regarding the first episode: an interesting series with its own style. Thank you for finding this gem of old-time radio. Your post-show commentary is always informative. Well, thank you so much, Alexis. Also, Zesty Italian III expressing appreciation for the episode Mother of Two Murdered on Spotify. And then we go over to YouTube, where Betsy comments regarding the Thin Man episode. Thank you so much. Big fan of the movies and didn't even know these existed. It was really great. Well, thank you so much, Betsy. And if you are on YouTube, of course, we do have a playlist of all of our Thin Man episodes that you can access from the front page of the channel, which has all of our completed series listed. And of course, there's a Thin Man archive feed in most podcast stores, as well as our Volume 1 feed. But if you are on YouTube, we are actually going to be replaying the weeks that we played the Thin Man episodes as part of our compilations. We post 2 videos, each containing a week's worth of programs per week. And so the Thin Man episodes start at week 54. So we're only about 10 weeks away from replaying those. So if you enjoyed hearing the Thin Man, don't want to go digging through the archives, and you're on YouTube, then you only have a few more weeks and you'll be able to enjoy the compilation with the Thin Man episodes in it. Well, now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day. And I want to go ahead and thank Ken. Ken has been one of our Patreon supporters since March of 2020, currently supporting the podcast at the Detective Sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Thank you so much for your support, Ken, and that will do it for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us using your favorite podcast software. If you're enjoying the podcast on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and mark the notification bell. We will be back next Tuesday with Bulldog Drummond, but join us back here tomorrow for Dangerous Assignment, where...
What's on your mind?
I shall have to ask you to accompany me to headquarters for questioning.
Wait a minute. What's this all about?
You called Andaban's son at his home in Cairo this afternoon, did you not?
Yeah, sure. So?
Some documents were stolen from his study. Documents belonging to Ahmed Tali, victim of a recent assassination attempt. We have received information that you have these documents in your possession.
What? That's crazy.
Is it, Mitchell? Then why did you run from the police in Cairo less than 2 hours ago?
The police? Oh, look, I can explain that. I thought they were... Hey, wait a minute. Falud, over here.
That old man, a friend of yours, Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, we came up on the train. He can explain about those 2 men we ran from.
So, you there, come here.
Yes, what is it?
Tell me, old man, do you know this American?
No, I never saw this man before in my life.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/greatdetectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.